Ewaure, the African king who conquered 201 villages. Among the great civilization of the African people, the majestic and rich heritage of the great Benin Empire sits at the pinnacle. And within this great kingdom, many powerful and renowned rulers have emerged. But among them, OBA Ewaure the Great shines brightest in valor, in conquest, and in might. Follow me in this video to learn about how he became such a great name in African and world history, how his throne was usurped, how he was banished into the wilderness to live as a vagabond, and find out how he won back his throne. What was the story of those who helped him return back to his rightful place on the throne of Benin Kingdom? Hello and welcome to this channel. If you are new here, click the like and subscribe button to be a part of this channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to stay updated on all our new videos. Now let's get right into today's content. At the time OBA Ewaure was born, he was known by another name, Ogun, Prince Ogun. He was born to Oba Ewaure of Benin Kingdom. His father was said to be crippled and was known to be very insecure about his condition. Prince Ogun was a warrior, a mystic, and an adventurer from when he was young, and always wanted to change the fortune of Benin Kingdom. He felt the old ways of administration needed to be changed, but this placed him at odds with the Uzamas, the great chiefs of Benin, who ruled alongside the Oba as subordinates, but most times they overstepped their boundaries. Prince Ogun had a younger brother called Ewaure. We will call him Ewaure for short. One day, Prince Ogun took his younger brother on a journey. He normally went on long trips like this to meditate and connect with the powers of nature. And while he was away, a great tragedy occurred at the palace. Oba Ewaure had ordered that the Iyase, who is the second in command to the Oba and head of the Uzama, should be executed. Why? Because Oba Ewaure claimed that he spied on his deformity while he was in his chambers. This angered the chiefs, who dragged the crippled Oba to the palace courtyard and had him stoned to death. Somehow, the news got to Prince Ogun, who could not believe that his father was dead. He sent his younger brother to find out the validity of the news. But when Ewaure got to Benin, he was welcomed with pomp and pageantry. The whole kingdom was happy that at least a prince was around, because it is a bad omen for the throne to be left empty for too long. When Ewaure was asked about his elder brother's whereabouts, he claimed that he did not know, and as such, Ewaure was crowned king immediately. When Ogun heard this, he gathered the troops that were with him to retake the throne that is rightfully his. But he did not realize that he would be meeting the force of a newly crowned Oba. His attack was defeated and all his supporters were killed and disbanded. Ogun escaped into the house of a chief who he believed was loyal to him. The chief hid him in a well which was in his compound and ordered a slave named Edo to take care of the prince, letting food like roasted plantain and water into the well. But somehow, someone saw the prince enter the chief's compound, and soon he was summoned by Oba Ewaure. The chief, who was in fear, tried to save himself by claiming that he hid the prince in the well in order to trap him. He decided to take the king's guard to the well, but his slave saw this and on his own decided to save the prince. He went to the well and let down the ladder, allowing Prince Ogun to escape. When the chief arrived, he decided to punish Edo, his slave, for acting on his own judgment and saving Prince Ogun. Edo was hanged for his crime, and Ogun promised that should he be king, he would rename Benin Kingdom in honor of this slave who sacrificed his life to save him. Seeing the danger in the kingdom, Prince Ogun escaped into the thick forest and began to live as a vagabond and wanderer. While in the forest, Prince Ogun experienced so many challenges. Once he slept under a tree only to find blood dripping upon him. He woke up to see a leopard on the top of the tree. The leopard had just killed a prey. To defend himself, Ogun took his spear, which he still had with him, and killed the leopard. At another time, Ogun found himself sleeping again. He was awoke when it seemed like the ground he slept upon began to move. That was when he realized he had slept on a huge python which was asleep. Again, he took his spear and slayed the python. Ogun's wandering continued and he began to lose hope until one day he was scavenging inside the bush and saw a woman gathering leaves. He hid because he was not sure of her stance. Suddenly, she hit her foot on a rock and exclaimed, "Pain everywhere! Prince Ogun has been unjustly deprived from the throne. Now the gods are punishing us with calamity." With this, Ogun emerged from the bushes and revealed himself to her. She swore her loyalty to him, and she indeed ensured his goal was achieved. Her name was Emotan, a widow whose house was at the center of Benin. Her hut became the hiding point for Prince Ogun whenever he came to spy on Benin to see who and who did not support his claim. And it turned out that a lot of the common people supported his claim to the throne, but the chiefs and highborns who had skeleton in their closet favored his younger brother because they knew the fury of Ogun would consume them if he became the Oba. One day, Ogun was wandering through the forest almost hopeless when he heard a farmer calling on his young son. The farmer called out, "Ewaure!" This name gave Prince Ogun hope because it meant the trouble has ceased. This spoke into his situation and he went to the farmer to ask for permission to buy the name. How this went is a story for another day. But what we need to know is that Ogun eventually bought the name for himself. He was also directed by the forest spirit to meet an Ifa priest known as Oka Ehi, who told Prince Ogun that the only way to go back to his throne was to place a sacrifice or offering at the palace gate every night and lament the injustice done to him. Ogun would do this every night and escape just before he gets caught. The matter was reported to the king, and he suspected that the strange offerings were being placed by his banished brother who has returned. His guards dismissed this, but when the action continued, Oba Uwa decided to go himself and lay ambush on his brother. And on one fateful night, Oba Uwa and a few guards hid close to the palace gate waiting for Prince Ogun. And at midnight, Ogun arrived as usual. Before he began to speak, Uwa and his guards came out and began to chase him. Uwa ran ahead of his guard to catch Ogun, and when Ogun realized this, he, while still running, plucked out a bamboo branch and slammed it against Uwa's head and escaped when the guards stopped to attend to the injured king. He died soon after of his head injuries. When Ogun heard this, he again sneaked into Benin, staying at Emotan's hut to hear what the Benin people thought. But again, there was a division. The people wanted Ogun, who was the rightful head, to be crowned, but the chiefs rejected him and wanted the throne for themselves. When Ogun saw this, he took a stick, lighted it on fire, and set out to burn Benin to the ground. He set the thatched roofs on fire and burnt a large part of the city and palace before one of the chiefs came out to beg for his forgiveness and submitted to his claim. If you have not subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button to stay updated on more videos like this. After Prince Ogun was crowned, he took the regal name of Ewaure. He came to be known as Ewaure no Ogidigan, which translates to Ewaure the Great, or the one that shocks. Because as a great ruler, he expanded Benin Kingdom into the large empire, conquering 201 territories. He was the first OBA to come in contact with Europeans. To reward those who helped him, he made the death place of Emota sacred because she died few years after he was crowned. Okahe was made the head of the mystic in Benin Kingdom, while the entire kingdom of Ubini was renamed Edo in honor of the boy slave who sacrificed his life to save Oba Ewaure. Because of his great and mighty exploits, Oba Ewaure was nicknamed Ogidigan, which directly means the great, but in deeper explanation, it means the one that shocks with his wonders. Thank you so much for sticking around till the end of this video. See you next time.